Welcome to another episode of Master Investors podcast. Today's theme is going to be the three types of income that exist in the money game. The first one is earned income that comes from a job, exchanging time for money. The more the individual works, the more they get paid, and so forth. Number two is portfolio income. That comes from paper assets, which are stocks and other commodities. The third type of income is passive income. Passive income is what the ultra rich have in place in order to have the luxury lifestyle that we carry. So here at Master Investor, we're going to be building passive income only. We're going to be focusing in building the asset column. By the way, there's a new book coming out, first edition of Master Investor, which I believe all the readers are going to love it, due to the fact that it's going to be very reliable, and will have many resources within the book that it will help the reader, without a doubt, to put more cash flow and create more assets that brings them, cash flow into their income column without having to work. Obviously, that's the whole purpose here. So passive income is the third type of income, and that's what we're going to be focusing on at Master Investor. We're going to be diving into passive income, building passive income, working for passive income, right? That's what we do. If anything, we're going to work to build passive income. We don't work at a job, but we work to build passive income. We understand that all incomes are important. However, because they all make a part of the will of freedom. If we look at it, when we own a business, if we have something, we have to hire somebody to do a certain task. So we have to pay them a salary, and so everybody's important. It's not about telling which type of income you ought to build, but we're supposed to, if you're here at Master Investors podcast, you wish to have more wealth, whether it's $1 million a year or every 5 years, whatever goal it is in regards to money. Everybody is different. What matters is that we are not working for money. We have money working hard for us, and we can thrive through life without having to worry about paying bills, because we have learned and mastered our own finance. Okay, so we're not in competition to see who has more money, who made more money. It's about building assets that are in our control, and we keep the database, which is very important. As an investor, we want to build a network, and so we want to keep those people and their information and never have somebody in between that. If we would like to really achieve ultimate wealth, then networks are the critical part of having success when it comes down to launching a new business, or raising capital for a new venture, or whatever that we're doing in regards to investing. We will always have to look into the business section and so forth, because investing is all about business. Investing is business. And so we're going to be talking a lot about business and how to build a business, and what are the components of a successful business. And that's going to be the next podcast, the 8 elements that makes a business or investment successful. And we can judge by using that formula and using those 8 elements, and when we build anything, and also when we're looking at investment that we want to invest on, and we want to see if it's lucrative for us, and so forth. So we can really do very much with that, but they're all tied together, because the 3 incomes are always part of the whole money process in the world. So we are just going to master passive income. Portfolio income is capital gains. The trader investors some of their money, which here at Master Investor we actually show you how to raise capital, right? And how to get into good debt, how to acquire debt to expand and buy assets that produce cash flow. Ultimately, we obtain everything for free, so we show everyone how to position themselves in a manner that everything will end up being free very quickly, and of course giving us the holy grail, which is infinite return on investment. When we recoup all of our money back, whether it's our money or somebody else's money, we recoup it all the way back and fast, and we know exactly when we're going to recoup it. It's like, well, we hope that this is not, we're not do that here. We don't do that here. We don't hope or anything. We exactly know when we will get the money back and how much thereafter. And that's the infinite return on investment. And that's when we get printed money for free, as we call it here, printable income. And it's real, free income, free money is real. It's a real thing. It's a thing of the ultra rich. It's a thing that we promote here at Master Investor, and we're married to that formula and that way of living. It's a lifestyle. Being rich is a lifestyle. Understand that I'm wealthy, and I mean that rich in the mindset and living by the values and principles of the ultra rich. Because what we're doing here is teaching how to tap into our freedom, but we cannot tap into that if we don't have the financial literacy in us, if we don't raise our financial IQ with the right financial literacy, right? And apply that into our real life. Acquiring assets is not rocket science. We don't need to be perfect at math or any of that. We just look at something, whether it's a home that produces us income every week because we have set up an Airbnb and we have put, beds in the room and we rent them to tourists and so forth. Whatever that is that's producing money into our pocket without having to work is an asset. And I also want to note that only lazy people uses their own money when investing. So when we look at the marketplace, and there are a lot of people out there doing the trading and stuff with the stock market and cryptocurrency, well, those people are traders. They some of them call themselves investors, but that is not investing. Trading and buying, holding, and praying that the market is going to go up is not investing. It's very risky, and also is what it is trading. So here at Master Investor, we don't speculate. We actually have true data with facts, and we show you exactly how to raise capital, how to sell, right, without selling, and of course without having to be present throughout the transaction to make the passive income. And the purpose of passive income is not to work for that income, it's to reach infinite return on investment. So the three types of income that exist in the money game are important, because if we don't know them, then we don't know which type of income we're building. And a lot of times we can see it happening all around us when we look at our family or anybody that may be connected with us, that you see them spending time in their career, but they find out that, well, you know what, that was the wrong type of income, because they don't have the freedom that they thought they would have. Because working for money and working hard for a piece of paper doesn't create freedom. If a doctor sees more people or raises his prices, he has certain amount of hours a day, so he can have millions of dollars coming in, but if he doesn't have the time to spend the millions of dollars that he has made working so hard for that money, then what's the point? The point of using and having a lot of money, having access to a lot of capital, is to do things with and to manifest and create things, because that's how the world goes around. Right? It goes around that way with money. We can't go far without money. If we want to fly somewhere, we have to pay more than driving, because we're paying because the time that it takes us to get there is going to be much faster. So we're not saving time, because time cannot be saved, but we are definitely getting there faster, and that's what we're paying. In today's age and forever, we have always used money as a tool to propel any idea or achieve anything that the human being wanted to do on this earth. So once we get money out of our way, then we can actually tap into our passions even more and turning them into, automatically they turn into money, into cash flow, because when we live through our dreams, people are giving us money all around us to continue to do what we do because we inspire them. Whether it's doing what I'm doing right now, speaking, or building a company, helping out with solutions that we're coming up with and we're investing on, and we're bringing into reality to solve an issue or a need in the marketplace, because we're problem solvers. A master investor, we teach the rules of money. We teach that an asset puts money in our pocket, a liability takes money out of our pocket. We teach that there are two types of debt, good debt and bad debt. That's going to be another podcast. But we must understand this, because good debt puts money in our pocket, just like an asset. Asset goes hand to hand with good debt. Bad debt goes hand to hand with a liability. It takes money out of our pocket. And that's how we determine what is an asset and what is a liability, the way the cash flow flows, whether it's flowing into our pocket or flowing out of our pocket into somebody else's asset column. Because remember this, and we must take note of these. When we have a liability, that's somebody else's asset in their asset column. So we can always turn the liability into an asset. And I gave an example of a house in another podcast, but I'll give it again because it's simple and it makes a point. If we have a house and we're paying it with our own money and we have to get up and go to work, which we don't recommend at all to do here, right? Because we don't work for money. So the people that actually go to work and pay for their house and they call their house an asset, that is one of the main issues, because they're calling an asset something that is a liability. And that is a huge problem, because you're thinking that, yeah, it's an asset because it looks like an asset in the bank's column, which it is an asset because they have a mortgage and you're paying that mortgage to them. So the bank makes money by lending money. So they have a mortgage of 30 years. And we have to understand that mortgage comes from the word mortir. It's a Latin word, French word, mortir, which it means unto death. That's why having a house is marrying a loan unto death, and the individual hardly never finish paying the house until they die. And so is something that we can also turn into an asset. If it's truly a liability and you're living at your house, but you can turn it into an Airbnb, and now that house and that Airbnb little operation is bringing in triple or quadruple or double or even a little more than the mortgage and the expenses of the entire house, then now that house is an asset on your asset column, and it's also an asset to the bank's column, because they're getting a mortgage every month. They don't care if you're getting 3 times more than the mortgage that they're asking you. They already bet on the deal that they got 30 years of X, Y, and Z coming in to their bank account. So at that point, it's just a win-win deal for everybody. And you're helping out the tourists and so forth. So listen, so many things we can do to turn our liabilities into assets. We have control over that. We are the ones that are in charge of our destiny. And we'd rather build something and be patient and building that is ours, and not something that is somebody else's, and we don't have control over our investments. When traders give their money away to the stock market, they're giving their money away. How is that investing? They have no control over assets. They don't have any say on the companies, where the companies is going. They don't know anything. All they know is when the market goes up and down. And by that time, the party's too late. So when you see it out there, it's too late. You shouldn't invest on. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion, but most importantly than my personal opinion is what truly we're teaching here and showing you how to do, which is acquire assets, which is, system, putting money into our pocket without having to work for that money. And I call them freedom units, right? They're freedom units because ultimately it gives us more freedom. The more assets we have, the more the more assets we have coming, pumping in cash flow into our bank account, the more freedom we have. So, and we can repeat that asset. If one works, we can duplicate and we can clone assets. That's the beautiful thing about investing, that we can clone freedom units. If one works and it was made with ease and we have the formula that can be duplicated, which it should, because all ways to wealth, we have a formula. There's a formula behind it, and a lot of times that's what makes people actually not become wealthy, because becoming wealthy is oftentimes boring, dull, and technical. So people are animals of habits, and so we tend to like fun, and we like to have fun with the things that we do. And if we're not having fun, then we want to go to something else that has more fun and it makes us more happy. So but nonetheless, we do afford the freedom at the end of the day, so we're sticking to it, even if it's boring, dull, or technical. It's actually easier, and it's actually a peace of mind to know that is that way, that we have formulas to become wealthy, and all we have to do is follow the course through. We have to go through the whole entire formula and follow that path, but ensure that we're building and acquiring assets, and we should know exactly when we're getting the cash flow back, who are the partners, how fast can I get my return on investment, right? And how fast can I reach infinite return on investment, which is the free money. Once we recoup the money back and we pay the loan back, hopefully we raise the money. We're not using any of our money, because the number one job of an entrepreneur is to raise capital, right? And the number one skill is to sell, right? We combine those two together, and then we can raise any type of capital and sell anything to anybody. We never have to use our own money. Only lazy people uses their own money to invest. And I don't say investors because those people are not investors. A true investor is someone that knows how to bring money together and raise it, and putting ourselves out of the equation with the pipeline coming straight from the cash flow of that investment to our bank account, because we were the ones that made that happen. So of course, after everybody's paid, we deserve our part, which is cash flow, passive income. And I'm going to leave you with that. So remember, we're working to build passive income. We don't work for money here at Master Investor. We learn the rules of money, of the wealthy, and we actually apply them into our life. And we build passive income, which comes from assets that we have control over, because it's placed in our asset column. We have an asset column. We have a financial statement that has an income and an expense column, and we have assets and liabilities, right? And so we're working on the asset column, and we're building freedom units there. We're going to put assets into that column throughout the whole year. And every day we're going to do a podcast as we grow. Of course, the more support we have, the more fan base we get. We're going to provide much more content and much more tools back to our fans and our partners. It's all about ethics, being authentic, and creating win-win partnerships with passive income. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here, right? To create passive income. That's what we're doing here at Master Investor, is building our passive income by having control over an asset column that has freedom units, or assets that produce income that comes in even when we're sleeping, right? I call it pajama money. We go to sleep and money still comes in, and we truly know how to raise capital, how to get into good debt and make that debt work hard for us. We invest the debt, make money with it, turn back, pay the debt off, get into more debt if we will, right? If we want to expand even more. But we pay the debt back with the money that's coming in from the investment that we did. And then we reach infinite return on investment because we get to keep the asset. Remember, we control the asset. And because we did that, we always get part of the whole party at the end, right? We get part of the best part, which is the cash flow, is the bottom line. So whether it's through debt or through private lending, through private capital, we always have a part on the cash flow, because that's what we're doing here, is passive income. We're building passive income, and at the end, if it wasn't for us, then that magic doesn't happen. And so it's creating win-win relationships, learning how to raise capital, learning what is a good investment, what is not a good investment, how to build the business from ground up, because investing has to do with business 100%. That's what we're going to be speaking about, business all the time. Next podcast is going to be the 8 elements of a successful business. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Remember, we're here to build passive income, acquire assets, and repeat the process. Acquire assets, repeat the process until the person is satisfied and they can just live their life and their dreams. And of course, when we live through our passions, money comes in, fame follows, and all of that follows, because it's a natural effect. So let's get the money out of the way, focus on our asset column, focus on our talents, and then live through them. We have the income, passive income, that can help us achieve and go anywhere, acquire any type of gear that we need to express our talents and so forth. So turn talents into our daily habits, right? And then of course have assets and acquire assets, because we understand the money game and we understand the 3 types of income. It's simple at the end. Master Investor, once again, making high quality financial education made simple for the people. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you and talk to you on the next podcast.